What if I told you that there are people working 12 hours a day who will never become wealthy, and at the same time, there are people working just 3 to 4 hours a day who are quietly building millions? And no, it's not luck. It's not talent. It's something much more uncomfortable than that, because the truth is, most people are working hard on something that will never make them rich. And the worst part is, they won't even realize it until it's too late. At 6:02 a.m., the alarm rings and Daniel opens his eyes. For a second, there is silence. Then reality kicks in. Another day, same routine. He gets up, walks into the kitchen, pours his coffee, and checks his phone. Notifications already waiting. Emails marked urgent. Meetings scheduled back to back. And before his day even begins, he already feels behind. And this has slowly become normal. By 7:15, he is on the road, traffic building, cars packed together, everyone rushing somewhere, everyone chasing something. And if you zoom out for a moment, it all looks the same. Thousands of people moving in the same direction at the same time for the same reason, and no one stops to question it. By 8:30, Daniel is at his desk, laptop open, calendar full, no space to breathe. The day starts and it doesn't stop. Calls, deadlines, pressure. He moves from one task to another, always doing something, always occupied, always busy. And at the end of the day, he feels exhausted but also satisfied, because in his mind, he worked hard. And that is where the illusion begins, because working hard feels like progress. It feels like you are moving forward. But what if you are working hard in the wrong direction? What if all that effort is not building your future, but just maintaining your present? Now, let's look at a completely different life. Lucas wakes up at 8:30 with no panic, no rush. He makes his coffee slowly, sits down, opens his laptop, and his day feels different. No constant pressure, no feeling of being behind, and yet his income is growing even right now, while he is sitting there doing almost nothing. And if you compare both lives, it doesn't make sense. Because if effort equals success, then Daniel should be ahead. But he is not, and this is where most people get confused, because they are looking at effort instead of structure. Daniel is selling his time while Lucas is building assets, and that single difference changes everything, because Daniel's income depends on his presence. If he works, he earns. If he stops, he earns nothing. It is a direct exchange of time for money. And at first it feels safe, even logical, but hidden inside it is a serious limitation. Time is finite. No matter how ambitious he is, he cannot create more hours, which means his income will always have a ceiling. And most people spend their entire lives pushing against that invisible ceiling without even realizing it exists. Lucas approached life differently. He asked a better question. Not how can I earn more per hour, but how can I earn without depending on hours? And that single question completely changed his direction. At first, nothing looked impressive. A small YouTube channel, a basic digital product, a few small investments, no big success, no overnight breakthrough. Just small, consistent actions that did not seem to matter in the beginning. And this is exactly where most people give up, because the results are invisible. There is no immediate reward, no validation, no proof that it is working, and the human brain is wired to prefer immediate results over delayed ones. So, people go back to what feels productive. They go back to working harder, staying busy, following the routine they understand, because it gives them a sense of control even if it does not lead to real progress. But Lucas kept going. He kept building even when it felt slow, and gradually something started to change. His effort began to compound. One piece of work started creating multiple outcomes. One video led to more views. More views led to more income. One product led to repeat sales. Over time, his work stopped being linear and became exponential. And this is the moment most people never reach, not because it is impossible, but because they never stay long enough to see it happen. Now, this goes deeper than just money, because this is also about identity. Most people see themselves as hard workers. They take pride in working long hours, pushing themselves, staying busy. And while that sounds positive, it can quietly become a trap. Because when your identity is built around hard work, you stop questioning whether that work is actually effective. You become attached to effort instead of results, and that keeps you stuck in the same loop. Daniel feels this sometimes. Late at night, he wonders if there is more, if he is capable of something bigger, if this is really the life he wanted. But those thoughts disappear the next morning when the routine begins again. And this is how years pass, not with big dramatic moments, but with small repeated patterns that slowly shape your life, and before you realize it, you are deep inside a system that is hard to escape. Now imagine 10 years from now, Daniel is still working, still pushing, still busy. His salary has increased, but so have his expenses, and deep down nothing really changed. He is still dependent on his time. Now, imagine Lucas after 10 years. His systems have grown, his assets have multiplied, his income is no longer tied to his daily effort, and most importantly, his time belongs to him. Same world, same opportunities, completely different outcomes, and the difference was not talent, not luck, but awareness. The awareness that hard work alone is not enough, because wealth is not created by effort, it is created by leverage. Leverage of time, leverage of systems, leverage of technology, leverage of money. And once you understand this, your thinking begins to shift. You stop asking, how can I work more, and start asking, how can I build something that works for me? You stop chasing hours and start creating value. You stop thinking only about today and start thinking in terms of years. And slowly, your direction begins to change. And direction matters more than effort, because you can run as fast as you want, but if you are moving in the wrong direction, you will never reach where you want to go. Now here is a question that might challenge you. If hard work alone made people rich, then wouldn't the hardest workers already be wealthy? Think about it carefully. There are people who work incredibly hard every single day, and yet they struggle financially, not because they are not trying, but because effort alone is not the game. The real game is leverage. The real game is scale. The real game is building something that grows beyond your time. And once you see that, you cannot unsee it, because now you understand why some people move ahead faster without appearing to work harder. At this point, everything becomes clearer. You realize that staying busy is not the same as building something meaningful, and that realization alone can change your future. But here is the truth most people avoid. This path requires patience. It requires uncertainty. It requires doing things without immediate results, and that is exactly why most people never take it. Because the comfort of a fixed paycheck feels safer than the uncertainty of building something, even if that something has the potential to change your life. And slowly, this comfort becomes a cage, a system that feels safe but limits your growth. And one day, you wake up and realize you have built a life that depends entirely on your time. Now ask yourself honestly, if nothing changes and you continue living exactly like this, where will you be in the next 10 years? And more importantly, will you be free? Because in the end, this is not just about money. It is about freedom, the freedom to choose how you spend your time, the freedom to decide how you live your life, the freedom to not depend on a paycheck to survive. And that freedom does not come from working harder. It comes from thinking differently, building differently, and acting with awareness. So the next time you feel proud of working long hours, pause for a moment and ask yourself a deeper question. Is this building my future or just maintaining my present? Because hard work can give you survival, but only leverage can give you freedom. And the people who understand this early do not just earn money, they build a life where money is no longer the center of everything. And maybe the biggest mistake people make is not that they do not work hard, but that they spend their entire lives working hard on something that was never designed to make them free.